Geek!
Might as well just start there.
Yeah.
Too bad I wasn't recording that.
See, I never know what's actually.
Go ahead.
Over the years, I never know what's actually in the episode and what's not, because I never know. Like, okay, are we recording now? Were we recording when I said that stupid thing, or I don't know. I'm kind of always on.
Well, you're always talking.
I'm always talking. Yeah. I meant in that regard.
Oh, okay.
All right.
I'm always in character.
You're a character.
You're not always
You are
funny.
the character. Yes.
Yeah, you're a character.
So
Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Hello.
Hi. So we're back
From outer space.
Welcome back.
for audience members that have been waiting for an episode a couple of weeks. So we had we're having audio issues or technology issues for the past couple of weeks. So the last episode that we were recording, going into the last few minutes, suddenly the soundboard just started getting really weird on us, and it was almost like, I don't know, like the whole board and our microphones all decided to short out at the same time.
I'm going to go get some candles, a bucket of KFC chicken, and some rum. I'll see what we can do about this.
I blamed it on a ghost.
I need an old priest and a young priest. And then
Then we'll see if I can hit that curveball.
yeah, and then for the past few minutes, trying to the new thing that we're plugged into right now, for some reason our video audio and audio clips weren't coming through, and there was it was only one channel that was coming in, so it sounded weird. So that's fun. I'll have it figured out by the next episode.
Science and technology.
You should title this episode
Don't
Technical
work for
Difficulties.
me. So what I'm gonna try to do with the last episode is break it into clips that are actually fine,
Mm-hmm.
and we'll have our first clip show.
First ever clip show.
Yay for us!
And that should be titled, It's an Oh My Geek Clip Show. How has the week been to you guys, though?
Eventful.
Eventful?
Eventful is the operative word.
Yeah.
I finally saw a movie in 2019.
Nice.
Oh, that's right.
Yay.
I ventured to the movie theater
Good
today.
for you.
Yeah.
Good for you.
How did you like it? There's been some upgrades.
It was a good movie. I saw the Joker.
Uh-huh. Isn't it just Joker?
Joker.
There's no the.
Sorry. I wasn't paying that close attention to the credits. But, yeah, it was a very good homage to Taxi Driver. At no point while I was watching the film that I thought it was Gotham City and/or that he was the Joker.
Yeah.
So
I haven't seen it
it was
yet,
enjoyable in that sense.
so- Okay. It's really interesting. Somebody posted online when they were shooting that whole dance sequence.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody was in there were people in one of the buildings, and they were shooting video from through the window of him dancing. So it's kind of interesting to see.
Yeah, I haven't really explored the movie theater that much this year either. Like, the last movie I saw was It Chapter 2.
Mm-hmm.
Before that, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, Godzilla, Endgame, and Captain Marvel. I think that's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Really dug Godzilla. Really dug Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. Really
Well, I
dug-
know we all have a group date next month.
Yes. Yes. But as I was saying earlier, Star Wars is bigger than a movie. I know, literally as
Star
a franchise
Wars
it is.
life.
But I mean, morally, yeah, Star Wars is like a way of life.
It is.
It is.
It is.
Yeah.
It is.
I've always wanted to
I
be
will
a Jedi.
probably get very sentimental watching it.
There might be some tears. Might cry.
I might sob.
And
Might sob.
and unlike a lot of people,
Don't get me started. If you cry, I'm gonna cry.
I'm not crying.
unlike a lot of people,
You were like a BG crying. I'm not crying.
almost sound like Aaron Neville.
I was gonna say the Bee Gees make Aaron Neville.
Everybody plays a fool.
The Bee Gees make Aaron Neville cry. Don't you start. then I'll cry too.
For those of you too young to remember Aaron Neville, you also might be too young to remember the Family Guy reference I'm going to bring up. But
a broken heart.
but no, I was going to say, unlike a lot of people, I still have not given up. I have not lost faith in Star Wars.
I haven't either.
And those who have, shame on you.
Never did.
You're not a real fan.
Well,
how dare you?
Speaking of Star Wars.
Speaking of Star Wars, yes.
Star Wars.
So the big news before we get into the actual technology, because I know we can all talk about that.
Yes.
So this is the week that has been promoted like crazy for the past half a year. I would say, especially the past month.
Yeah.
It's been everywhere. So this is the week where Disney Plus officially launched, because we knew that it was testing in the Netherlands.
Mm-hmm.
They were doing beta testing there, which obviously for some that didn't seem to take.
Yes, it would appear.
And so it launched.
The Dutch.
I love a gold member.
But the big thing that, and honestly, I think it's one of the biggest things that got people to sign up, from what I can tell, was The Mandalorian.
Absolutely.
Oh, obviously. I mean, I don't know anyone who signed up. I mean, I intend to watch Lady and the Tramp, but I don't know anyone who signed up for Lady and the Tramp.
Nobody signed up for anything but Mandalorian.
I think that there are people that did sign up because they have kids, they have families, and they
for
they
the
want the
movies,
library. I get that, but I think as far as new content and original content, it was all Mandalorian.
Yeah.
And
I haven't heard a word one on like the High School Musical series or.
The premise of that is so dumb. High School Musical, the series. Do you know what the premise is?
Well, to be fair, High School Musical is dumb.
Yes, but do you know what the premise of this is?
No.
So the premise of it is that the movie, the original High School Musical, was actually filmed at their fictional high school. And so they decide that because the movie High School Musical was filmed at their musical, they are going to put on High School Musical at their school.
Yes. Yeah, I got
That's the premise. High School Music. Yeah.
That is epic. My head kind of hurts.
That
just
is
thinking about that.
that's like eating their own tail right there.
Thank God I watched The Mandalorian first.
But so that launched, or that was ready right at launch.
Yeah.
So that was the first thing. So I was very lucky in that I didn't have any issues logging on, and it opened up early. For the most
way
part,
earlier
yeah.
than it was supposed to.
So, and I had been out for a family event. We were having a birthday party. So when I got home, it was already up, and I had people's messages like, "I'm watching it now." I'm like, "Don't tell me anything." But before midnight, I got to watch we all got to watch the first episode.
Yep.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Yep.
I loved it.
Yeah, it's okay.
So
Get out.
so some of our more loyal listeners will remember my Boba Fett rant. I don't know why people love Boba Fett. He's got maybe 5 minutes of screen time between two movies, has a couple lines of dialogue, and gets knocked in the Sarlacc pit by a blind guy. That's it.
Yeah, but he looks cool.
He looks cool. He does. But people love him. People practically worship him, and I don't get it. Now, the Mandalorian, on the other hand, I get that.
You understand now?
Oh, he does stuff. He's awesome. This is one of my favorite Star Wars characters, and Pedro Pascal is like one of the greatest actors of this generation. I absolutely love him. Everything he does,
Did you just call it
second
Petrol?
thing.
Pedro.
Oh, I thought you said petrol.
Petrol? No, that's his cousin, Pedro Pascal.
He owns a lot of gas stations.
That's his British cousin. No, I really dig The Mandalorian. It's refreshing when something is exactly what you expect it to be. The trailers paint
not only what you expect it to be, but what you wanted it to be.
Yeah. But I mean, it's how many times have we been fooled by a trailer before? Like, well, it looks this, and it's not this. This is exactly the picture that was painted by the trailers.
And not only that, but also too, and I guess we won't really. Well, I guess we could. I was going to say spoilers, but there were still enough surprises in the episode that all the footage that we've seen so far from trailers, that's from Star Wars Celebration, that I was still surprised watching it and enthusiastic.
You mean
Green
Gizmo? That's exactly what I thought. Was this adorable little creature looks like a green Gizmo?
I'm cool with that.
Oh no, I mean I love Gremlins.
I'm cool with that.
And it was absolutely adorable.
No,
and I mean, so again, I'm not going to get into spoilers. I've seen episode 2. You guys haven't watched it yet. You see more of this thing. and it gets more adorable every time you look at it.
Nice.
That's all I'm saying. All I'm saying.
Thanks for spoiling it, Nick.
No, earlier I actually did slip and actually gave out a major spoiler for the episode because I had forgotten. There's
Glad I
people
wasn't
in the
paying
shop.
attention.
It was
good.
no, you weren't here yet.
Oh.
But I had completely forgotten there was someone in the shop who had told me right when they walked in. I haven't seen the second episode yet. I forgot.
Oh.
Blurted out the big spoiler for episode 2, and I was like, "Oh, I'm sorry. My bad,
guys. So,
Uh,
how about that weather?
yeah."
Look what you did, you little jerk.
Home Alone isn't on there, right? Home Alone is not anything
yes.
owned by
Yeah.
anything.
Fox.
Fox. Oh, so is Home
They
Alone
are,
on there?
yeah,
Yeah.
Home Alone
Okay,
and Home.
cool.
Yeah, that and also the
2 and
direct-to-video
3.
sequels.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
those don't
I
exist.
think
don't
2
count.
and 3. I don't think
Yeah.
the fourth one is.
Oh, that's right. There was a fourth one.
Yeah.
I'm not even that crazy about part 2. Like, I mean, I
Same.
kind of like it. I'm just not.
It was
really
too much of a rehash.
It was.
for me.
It was the exact same thing, just in New York instead of Chicago.
right.
Hey, they were the sticky bandits at that point.
Oh
Not the
yeah,
wet
yeah, yeah,
bandits.
yeah, yeah. The
That's
sticky bandits. He's got the little tape on his
That's
head,
right.
but he goes
They-
and
yeah,
robs.
that's
the-
right.
yeah,
They
yeah.
evolved.
Yeah. But
okay, so Mandalorian.
Mandalorian. Yes.
I loved it. I mean, as far as I'm concerned, give Dave Filoni a film franchise right now for Star Wars.
Actually, that's an interesting point. So I now with Disney Plus, I'm also watching the Clone Wars for the first time, and
Right.
the reason I'm doing it is because over the years I've had to listen to people wax on poetically about how Dave Filoni is one of the greatest things that's ever happened to Star Wars,
Right.
and not being a fan of the prequels and not really being a big fan of CGI animation.
Right.
I've always been turned off by the idea of the Clone Wars.
I get it.
But now I'm like 12 episodes into it, and I'm like really enjoying it.
Yeah.
Like way more than I ever thought I would. And I'm starting to see Dave Filoni, man. Dave Filoni.
Yeah. As far as I'm concerned, give him one of the film franchises because he's proved now with what we've seen so far that he can do live action. He can do live action Star Wars.
Yeah. But the greatest thing I think about The Mandalorian is how much it absolutely feels like a Star Wars movie.
Right.
Like it's they're not on Tatooine, right? They never actually say where they're at.
Right.
I don't know.
Yeah,
if
they
it's
haven't.
Tatooine-
They haven't said where they're at, and I don't recall them saying where they are.
It's similar, though.
but
if
it
I
feels
remember-
like it.
Yeah.
If I remember right, at Star Wars Celebration, Jon Favreau said that they're basically on the outskirts.
Yeah, the
of
outer
gal-
rim,
They
the outer
are
rim.
on the outer rim, so
Yeah.
they're out there. So they would be near what would be Black Spire Outpost from Galaxy's
Yeah.
Edge.
But it all feels like it. Like it really.
What a
like,
tie-in.
Just thought I'd throw that in there.
Like now, some people would disagree. I've always firmly believed Force Awakens really felt like a Star Wars movie.
Mhm.
Like it really did.
Yeah.
Mandalorian feels like the Star Wars movies I grew up watching. It literally feels. I mean, I know it takes place 5 years after Jedi,
Right.
But it feels like it fits in perfectly there.
Well, and I think that,
You know?
and I think the credit goes not only, and I'm praising Dave Filoni, who deserves it all, but I think that a huge amount of credit also needs to go to Jon Favreau for writing.
Oh, yeah.
for writing
Yeah.
these, because I think the two of them working together, being fans of the franchises, that they knew how to create that world. They knew what they loved growing up. Filoni has been immersed in it for a couple of decades now, and bringing Favreau in and getting his knowledge with live action and translating that, I think that's what helped create what we're now seeing.
And I'm not usually like one who even really pays. And I know that. Sorry, Jesse. I'm not usually one who pays attention to credits. I'm really not.
Right.
The credit sequences on the episodes are awesome.
They're great.
Yeah.
They're awesome.
It also feels like watching those with the music. It also feels like an older TV show.
Yes, it does. That's exactly what I was
Yeah.
thinking of. Something from like the late 70s or something,
Yeah.
Which kind of adds to just the whole Star Wars
Yeah.
feel anyway.
Yeah.
I don't really think I can.
And you can now listen to the score online.
Oh, cool.
Oh, so someone earlier here at the shop was saying that they think that when episode 1 he goes into the guild, the Mandalore guild,
Right.
and he thinks that the song that's playing is, if it's not Kylo Ren's theme, he thinks it's similar. Now, I don't really like right now. If you play Kylo Ren's theme from right now, I wouldn't recognize it, so I can't really say it for sure. I don't even remember what the music that was playing during the episode sounded like.
Right.
But this person was convinced it was Kylo Ren's theme song. So if that's
Could
the
be. I
case,
need to pay attention. I haven't listened to the score isolated yet.
yeah. But
Well,
if that's
I
the
need to do
case,
that.
we have an interesting fan.
We already know that you listening to the show hasn't really provided much of since he couldn't figure out who two of the characters were, who voiced them.
Well, okay, yeah. So I didn't recognize the blue alien as Ratio Sands even
Yeah.
on the second watch when I knew it was Ratio Sands.
Yeah.
Now
I pulled that one out.
Now the Nick Nolte thing, the voice sounded familiar to me.
Yeah.
I just didn't automatically recognize it as Nick Nolte until I saw his name in the credits and it clicked. The Huguenot is Nick Nolte.
What a loser!
I have spoken.
I immediately
He
pulled
is a great
both.
character. It's not you see him again. That's all I'm saying.
Right. I kind of figured.
It was
Yeah.
not a one-off thing for Nick
No.
Nolte.
I figured.
But
I will watch it as soon as I get home.
Yep.
Well, actually, I'll walk in the door.
it's not long.
and I'll sit on the couch, and then I'll put on.
Pop some popcorn.
Yeah.
Popping corn.
Maybe a beverage of sorts.
Oh, I like beverages.
Coca-Cola, I feel, goes best with popcorn.
As long as it's not Christmas themed. It's not Christmas yet.
Oh, that's a debate for another time.
It's Thanksgiving season now.
Because for me, Christmas starts on November 1st.
Nope.
Thanksgiving is just
It
pre-Christmas.
starts
Pre-Christmas.
the day
It's
after
pre-Christmas.
Thanksgiving.
Christmas, the prequel.
I mean, pretty much. It's just like the preseason for Christmas. It's just Christmas without presents and trees and Santa.
Anyways, okay.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's so
It's good.
very good.
I don't know what else to say without actually talking about episode 2, because a lot of what I want to talk about is in episode 2.
I get it. Yeah, I get
Because
it.
it's just so awesome. Episode 2 is better than episode 1, which is how it should be. Yeah, each
You have
episode
to
should
build.
get better. Yeah. But
The
there's
climactic
just like some awesome
Episode
stuff
8.
that I can't discuss. But I will say this: like it's incredible how
That's incredible.
well. So like until that first trailer from Celebration came out, I didn't know Werner Herzog was even in the show.
okay.
And now
I didn't either until we saw when we
now
saw the
like
footage there.
the way people are reacting. Like I saw one tweet that said, "I want Werner Herzog to read the eulogy at my." It was Devin Sawa, actor Devin Sawa said, "I want Werner Herzog to read the eulogy at my funeral."
And he's
And-
never seen a single thing about Star Wars before.
Oh, he hasn't. Oh,
No.
Werner Herzog.
Yeah. He mentioned it in an interview. He's like, yeah, I've never
That
seen a
makes
Star
it even
Wars
more
thing.
bizarre. Then why is he? Why was
I
he
don't know,
cast?
but it's fantastic.
Has he
it's great.
acted in anything? Like I've seen a
don't
bunch of his
remember.
movies. I've never seen him act in anything before.
I'd have to look him up.
But he was awesome.
Yeah, he was.
Now I will say something about that scene. Right, Dr. Pershing. If you look closely, the patch on his arm is the same patch they're wearing on Camino.
I didn't.
So the
I had to
current
watch it
belief
again.
is he's a doctor, but the current belief is his
Cloning?
specialty is cloning. Yeah.
Well, that's because he wants him alive.
Which
He wants their target alive. That's why.
he wants the target alive, but it is acceptable. The proof of termination is acceptable at a lower fee, right? And so now that makes it even more mysterious as far as I'm concerned, because then it's like, well, then if they are cool with it being dead, I don't really know what's going on. Well, there's another. Like I said, I've seen episode 1 twice now, and there's another moment that kind of confused me. But I don't know much about Mandalorian lore, and B, I'm assuming this gets fleshed out like later on. But when the Beskar steel, when he brings it to the armor,
Yeah.
and she says the excess will spawn more foundlings, and he says, "I am a foundling." And she goes, "I know." I'm really confused. Are the Mandalorians born from metal? Like literally?
No, foundlings were orphans, most of it during the Clone Wars.
But she says the excess metal will spawn more foundlings.
It basically means it'll help pay for. So so the money will go to help raise more of the
okay.
Yeah, it's
Because
not
in my mind, I'm
Okay.
thinking
Yeah.
spawning more. Like
No.
spawning means something very specific.
So the money coming from that will help, and it's basically like raising money for orphanages. So this will help us with more of these kids who have been abandoned. Either their parents are killed or they've just been abandoned. So the foundlings are ones. Most of them were I should say most of them. It seems like the generation that we're seeing of Mandalorian, that his family, I believe, was probably killed during the Clone Wars, is what it's looking like.
Yeah.
And that's why he has an aversion to droids.
Oh yeah. That land speeder was sweet, though. I was like, I wouldn't have turned that down.
And I know
Droid or
that
no droid.
and I know that the idea of that, once the Clone Wars are, becoming more popular, both through the the prequel, but then of course through the animated series. So a lot of people have gone back and are now believing that in A New Hope, when he goes into the cantina, we don't serve their kind here. That the bartender was the same thing because of the Clone Wars. Like, get them out of here. So that's what popular belief is now. Is about that there is that aversion to droids because of the Clone Wars.
Yeah. Also, it was really cool to see
Nerd alert.
That giant rifle weapon that Boba Fett has in the Holiday Special.
Yeah,
it's nice to see that in action. And it's multi-functions.
Yeah.
And
we finally saw a bathroom in the Star Wars universe.
Yep.
But so going back to your question about Werner, so
yes.
It looks like he's done a lot of voice stuff.
Yeah. Simpsons, Rick and Morty.
I vaguely remember him in
Keg Jennings on Parks and Recreation.
Yeah, I vaguely remember him in that.
He was in Jack Reacher apparently. Numerous episodes of Metalocalypse. And I thought I've seen every episode of Metalocalypse. I don't recognize that character, so I might be behind. Did he play himself in the Boondocks? Did I see that right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Huh.
So
I'm
anyway,
definitely behind on the Boondocks.
So he has an extensive.
And I learned something.
But it was great.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. And it was cool that those stormtroopers were actual 501st members.
Not all of them.
Not all of them?
Not yet. I think the ones that are that were in episode 1. Again, I haven't seen episode 2 yet.
Yeah.
In episode 1, those were actors or stunt performers, whoever they cast in there.
Oh,
but apparently there are other moments coming up that required them to have a ton of stormtroopers, and then they realized when they got to set that they didn't have enough, and so that's when
we don't have enough costumes, guys.
Yeah, pretty much. And so Favreau was worried about it, whereas Filoni's like, okay, I know who to call.
I know a guy.
And so they put out on the 501st message board, come here on this day a week for a secret project. So they didn't know what it was until they got there. And now those folks in the 501st now all have screen accurate costumes. It's awesome.
Yeah. That is awesome. Sometimes I convince myself I want to be a 501st, but then I don't have the money.
I just don't have the time. I don't have the patience to redo the armor.
I have the patience. I could find the time because I don't sleep much. It's the money for me.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I would insist on being a Sith trooper, and I don't know if I would be allowed.
Yeah.
So, but
I think for me, just because through all of our events, I've become close. We've become close to the members of 501st and the Mandalorian Mercs. That if we did, they'd probably help us.
But yeah, it's there's so much. I mean, like I said, I don't think I have a negative thing to say about the Mandalorian. Like it's everything I wanted it to be. Although I don't think because those listening haven't listened to last week's episode yet, and I don't know if this will show up, but I could use more lightsabers though.
Well, never know. You never know.
No lightsabers yet.
Yeah.
I think I'd be better suited as a Jedi than one of the 501st members because I don't want to be the fat stormtrooper. I want to be the fat guy in that costume, with the plates not fitting right.
If I'm being perfectly honest, my two big things as far as Star Wars cosplay is I want to either be a Sith, or an Y-wing pilot that was introduced in Rogue One because those blue suits
There's a couple
I thought
fat
were
guys there
sick. But I mean, those blue suits were awesome. I mean, I like the X-wing suits, it's all, but the blue version, I just oh my god, that's what I want. That's what I want to cosplay as.
Yeah, black cloak would be fun. I mean,
I know
very slimming.
I know some of the 501st members when I was talking to them about it at one of the last events, and they're really it's probably what I would do if I were going to be one of the troopers. Is I'd want to be a biker scout, and they're like, definitely do it, dude. I said, well, I'm thinking about it. I said, no, seriously, because it's the most comfortable costume.
And it's also, I think, the best looking one of all like the original trilogy Stormtroopers ones.
As
the
a
Biker
kid,
Scouts are
as
like
a kid,
the
I
coolest
loved
looking
the
one.
Biker Scout look.
Yeah. I mean, even like the rebels, like their
you
Endor
with the
gear,
tattoos on your arm.
but no, even like the rebels, their Endor gear, I always thought was some of the coolest looking costumes too. Just like I love Return of the Jedi. I know a lot of people now like to bash it, and I think that's just stupid.
Yeah, it's still my favorite.
Well, I mean, as a kid, it was my favorite. As an adult, Empire is definitely my favorite. But my passion for Return of the Jedi is very strong.
Well, and the thing for me, Jedi has always remained for me my favorite movie of all time. And the reason for that is because it's really what convinced me as a kid that said, oh, I want to do that. And it would basically mean something in the entertainment industry, because I can still remember the roar of the audience when Vader picked up the Emperor. That moment in the movie when Vader picks up the Emperor to throw him over the side, and just hearing that theater go nuts. I just remember that feeling of being in there as a kid and experiencing that carried, that emotion and that feeling always stayed with me. So that's just like, oh, I want to do that. I want to create something like that.
Yeah, whereas I'm pretty sure I've said this on the podcast before, I can't remember my first time watching Return of the Jedi. It's my earliest memory is getting excited because we were renting it again. You know, like I think I might have even begged my parents, can we rent Return of the Jedi again? So like my earliest memory is I've already seen it multiple times and excited because I'm going to see it again. But everything I love about Luke Skywalker is my favorite character. Like and Luke Skywalker is the majority of the reason I love Star Wars. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's obviously other things, but like the majority of why I love Star Wars has to do entirely with Luke Skywalker. And for me, Jedi is the reason I love Luke Skywalker. You know, again, loyal listeners will remember my spiel about Darth Vader and how, you know, like Darth Vader doesn't really do anything like badass like in the original trilogy. I mean, he does some things that's kind of like menacing and kind of scary, but never anything badass. And everyone likes to bash Luke. Luke's kind of a square. He's like a whiny little, you know. No, Luke in the original trilogy is the most badass character in the original trilogy, and all you need to do is watch Jedi.
Okay, and I see what you're saying, but as a kid, I remember. Well, I'll just call it Star Wars. When Star Wars came out, though, you're saying that about him now, but you got to think of the audience in that moment in the first Star Wars when they show Vader and he's holding a rebel fighter by the throat in the air.
No, I get
and
that.
So that the audience was like, "Ooh!" So as soon as you see that moment, that's when you know, okay, this dude's a badass.
No, I get that, but I don't. That to me, that's not really badass. It's more just like threatening and menacing.
To hold a guy up in the air by his throat?
He's huge, though. Like Vader's very large, and that rebel was very small.
Yeah, well, regardless, it's not exactly an easy.
It's
feat.
not anywhere near walking up to the front door of Jabba's palace in an all-black suit, saying, "I'm Luke Skywalker, Jedi Master. I'm here to rescue my friends," and have everyone laugh at you, and you just kind of go, "Oh ho ho ho! You don't know." You don't know.
No, and I get it, but
taking on a Rancor.
He goes into a pit.
Yeah, no, I get what you're saying, but you got to understand that, you know, from my perspective growing up, that's the reason that we all knew that Vader was a badass. Just from that moment of him holding that guy up in the air, you just see his feet just dangling because he's just holding him up by his throat.
And then he starts screwing with that captain.
Yeah.
Oh, the force choke and everything. Yeah.
Come here, little. Come here. Let me talk
but again,
to you for
me,
a
that's
second.
just more something that's like more threatening or scary as opposed to like.
He's just messing around with him. He's just toying with him.
Yep.
Don't poke the bear.
Now, there was a comic series a few years ago, or a crossover between the Marvel Star Wars main book and the Vader book called Vader Down, and that was the first time I ever saw Vader do anything really, really badass. He uses the Force to hold the entire ship at bay, and then uses the turrets to like fire at other people, and I was like, oh, well, that kind of ruins my Vader spiel now. And then naturally,
then we got Force One,
Rogue One,
Rogue One,
yeah.
But for me, like, it just the Jedi was it, man. I mean, even for a while, I thought it was a solo.
No, I get it.
I thought it was a single movie. I didn't realize it was part 3 of a trilogy, and I watched them all in reverse order. But blame it on my parents.
Blame it on the rain.
But no, and you know, we're not going to get into this, but that was one of my biggest gripe with Last Jedi was their treatment of Luke Skywalker, my favorite character and the main reason I love Star Wars. But I still have so much hope and faith in Rise of Skywalker. You know, and a big part of that is because Luke Skywalker.
Yeah.
In Return of the Jedi, at the very end, he has so much faith in just good that Anakin Skywalker will save him. He throws down his weapon, surrenders his life to the Emperor, and he's right. And he has no reason to feel that. Vader has done nothing to show him that this is going to happen. He just believes. And like Luke Skywalker, I believe. So I'm throwing down my weapon. I'm surrendering my life to J.J. Abrams
Just listen to the rhythm
and Rise of Skywalker, and I believe that my faith will be rewarded. And we'll find out in a month.
And then he said something that Rian Johnson gave him the idea to what was the word he used? I forget.
Who were we talking about?
J.J. Abrams.
Oh, yeah. It was we talked about recently.
Yeah.
He I don't
gave him the idea not the idea, but the
was it courage?
The courage.
Yeah,
to go
to just basically step outside of his comfort zone.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Which makes me excited for JJ to do that.
Yeah.
Really makes me excited.
Let's just hope it doesn't go too far out of our comfort
It's
zone.
a musical.
We could use a good Star Wars musical. A good Star Wars musical. I know we have one.
Obi-Wan Kenobi.
Is that what the Obi-Wan show is going to be?
I don't know.
Oh, I hope so.
That'd be
He's a great singer.
fantastic.
Oh, yes, Moulin Rouge.
Yeah, he's a great
I
singer.
forgot.
But so if there are any listeners out there that have yet to jump in to Disney Plus, first off, if you try it out right now, if you're not committed to it, they give you a week for free to try it out. But I can't recommend The Mandalorian enough.
Yeah.
I mean, it's so good.
Yeah. Not High School Musical, the show, though.
So let's move on from Mandalorian because we could spend the entire episode talking about it without even talking about it.
We can't because I'm further along than you guys.
That's true. So let's get on to the tech with Disney Plus.
Oh man, do we really want to talk about that?
I think we should because I think that's part of the story.
It definitely is.
We
it's
mentioned,
been rough.
Yeah, we mentioned earlier at the very beginning when we first started talking about this. So Disney Plus was in beta for a couple of months in the Netherlands.
The Dutch.
And I kept reading about some bugs, but I didn't hear major complaints out of it when it was there. I heard complaints or read complaints, but I didn't see anything like this is horrible, this is awful, that would make me give pause to the app itself.
My experience has been highly negative to the point where I've actually been considering canceling my
I understand, but I'm talking
Yeah.
right now. I'm talking about the beta.
Sorry.
So again, he still doesn't listen to the episode when we're like in the middle of it.
Nope.
Okay, I'm not gonna lie, guys. I don't know what beta means.
They were testing it.
I never learned to read.
So when they were testing it in the Netherlands, I didn't hear about anything that would make it sound catastrophic.
Yeah.
Some issues here and there, but it's a beta testing. Of course, I figured that was going to happen. So the launch date gets here, and I knew it was going to crash. I just knew it was going to happen because the promotion was so extensive.
Yeah.
Virtually everybody I know said that they were getting it, and they were going to be, and almost everybody I know was planning on getting on when it launched to watch Mandalorian.
Yeah.
So I had a buddy of mine text me the day before or the morning of, like before, saying he was stoked, and I actually warned him. I was like, it's going to crash. He's like, oh, don't say that. I'm like, it's just inevitable. It's going to happen. It's going to happen. And I was pleasantly surprised on my end. Like I said, all of a sudden it was there. I took a picture and showed you guys because I had a link given to me to manually add the app to my Roku before it showed up in the store, but there was no content yet. It was just basically, almost a stay tuned kind of a thing.
Yeah.
Which got me excited. Then I had to leave to go to a birthday party. And then I started seeing, it's live for a lot of people. My brother was texting me that he was watching Mandalorian already. So I got home, I reloaded the app, and everything was right there. And I was like, great. And then I logged on my phone to put it on my phone, loaded and logged in, perfectly fine. And then I started seeing your message right away. This is horrible. This sucks. I can't get in. What's going on? It keeps crashing for me. And I was like, well, I don't want to tell you, buddy. I'm watching Mandalorian.
Only problem I had was just the password issue. And it cleared itself up.
And it's from what I've read, that was one of the major things for a lot of people was something to do with their password.
I typed in all my passwords for all my Disney sites.
Right.
Not a single one of them worked. So I go and get the forgot password.
Right.
I type it in. It immediately tells me, got to go to the number thing.
Yeah.
And then I go back and put it in, and it finally goes through.
Yeah, see, and
then I got 3 emails at like 5:30 in the morning saying there's been changes to your account. And so I go back in and do my same password that I put in on the desktop, and it didn't go through. So I had to do that over again, and it finally went through.
Huh. And so I had a similar issue. So
you had a lot of issues. So go ahead and talk about everything that happened with you.
I'm sure I'm going to forget something because, I mean, it's like my issues are like a laundry list. And
He's got issues.
Some of them big, some of them just nitpicky stuff.
Let's go with the big stuff.
Let's
talk not nitpicky. Let's talk about like the major stuff. The issues like getting in, your account, all that stuff.
Okay, so on my end, so I register, right? And email, create a password, whole nine, right?
Whole nine.
And then the first thing I see when I get to the homepage is under on the left side, there's a toolbar, and then at the bottom there's like settings. There's a notification. I click on it. It tells me I need to verify my account. Normal, right?
Right.
That's how it works. Okay, cool. So I click verify account, and it says we've emailed you a code. Enter this code to verify your account. Also normal. Right. Okay. So I enter the code, and then it tells me I need to change my password. The password that I just created moments prior. I need to change it. It's not giving me an option. It's not suggesting, hey, change your password. It's telling me it's mandatory. I have to change my password. So I do, right? I don't have a choice. I create new passwords. This is now password number 2. And then I download it to my phone, right? And then I use password number 2 to successfully log in. And, I'm just testing out on the phone now. So I'm like, I play like an episode of The Simpsons on my phone. Okay, cool. It's working. Everything good. All right. And I go about my business, watch Mandalorian, try some other stuff. The next morning, I go to log in on desktop. Password is invalid. Maybe I mistyped it. Type it again. Password is invalid. I click show password. Type it in. And I'm like looking. This is completely accurate. This is the password. Log in. Password invalid. So I'm like, that's weird. I haven't checked my email at this point, but I got the same email. I got like 2 or 3 emails, also like 5 something in the morning. Yeah. So I try password 1. I have now logged in successfully. So it changed my password back to password 1. My biggest gripe with the service specifically, because I find this is like an incredibly frustrating thing, is there is no resume watch feature. I have to keep track of what episode I'm on. If I'm watching a movie, I have to keep track of the minute I left off.
Right.
Because it will not resume playback in any way, shape, or form. When I would tell people this problem, they're like, no, there is. I'm like, no. You're talking about watch next. You're watching an episode that auto plays. That's fine.
Right.
The going back to, and I found this out while watching the Clone Wars. I watched 8 episodes in a row, right? And the next day I go back to watch it, and I'm like, are they doing a recap? Because the episodes have recaps, and I'm like watching for a little bit. I'm like, no, this isn't a recap. This is episode 1. So I pause it, and yeah, it says episode 1. I'm like, son of a bitch. And I go, and I'm like looking, and I'm like, there's no option to like resume place. And then I'm like, well, I know I left off on episode 8, so I just go back and start watching episode 9. And, here we are like 4 days later. This is still the issue, right? And I think it's incredibly frustrating because if you're like binging something that's like very like long, like
so there's like no indication that you've watched it then.
Exactly,
yeah.
Right?
Okay.
But same thing with like movies, right? Like I put some movies on and getting like maybe 30-40 minutes into a movie that I've already seen, so I'm not really concerned about watching the whole thing immediately. I'm going to pause it, go back, do something else, or maybe turn off my PlayStation, go back. When I go back, it starts off not just from the beginning, but like midway through the opening credit sequences on every movie I've watched. Like specifically, it'll start midway through credit sequences. And I'm
strange.
Like, yeah.
And that complaint is, from what I can tell, is the biggest complaint of everybody that uses the service. Mine too.
Because it is a major deal,
It
right?
really is.
It's something that every other streaming service has, these functions for convenience purposes,
Right.
and it makes it inconvenient to watch certain things. Other things that I've had, like I keep having a problem where like video will pause, but audio keeps playing.
I haven't had that.
It happens to me frequently, like absolutely frequently.
And then the other thing we were talking about earlier too is that for a lot of TV shows that have several episodes, that they're out of order.
Yeah, there's that. The Simpsons aspect ratio thing bugs me.
Well, the thing is though, is that's actually not Disney.
No, I know that was
No,
FX, but on Simpsons World,
You should be able to have you should show anything in its original aspect.
But
yeah.
On Simpsons World, though, the now I'm assuming defunct now website, you could choose which aspect ratio you watched it in.
They had to create that because when they first created Simpsons World, it was all the HD.
Yeah, when
stuff.
FXX got it and everything. Yeah,
and so they redid it all. They reformatted it to HD, and so when they first launched that, you had no option at all. That was all they had.
Yeah.
And so Disney Plus only wanted the HD stuff.
Yeah.
And so they already had that. So that's what they uploaded into their system
but then other 90s stuff you can watch in its original aspect ratio.
So
yeah.
So again, and that is, probably the second biggest complaint from people is that with Simpsons.
And then there's like certain episodes of Simpsons that you can't watch. Like like the Michael Jackson episode, obviously.
But that was a Fox decision.
Well,
that was way before Disney that they were going to pull that out.
But then I haven't obviously watched all 600 plus episodes of The Simpsons on the service. But one thing I was seeing online is that certain like more risque jokes from early episodes of Simpsons have been removed. Like
I've heard that as well, but I haven't watched any yet. So
that kind of bugs me. Some things I'm having problems like the frame rate. Like I was watching Sword of the Stone and it had some frame rate issues. That just kind of really bugged me. X-Men, I was watching the X-Men cartoon and like there were times where it visually was an eyesore, and then I switched to the Fantastic Four and Iron Man cartoons, which are inferior cartoons to the X-Men cartoon, but they looked really good. And so I was really confused. Like, why does the crappy Fantastic Four cartoon look better than the great X-Men cartoon on this? So, things like that. Although I'll say this. I watched Flight of the Navigator in its entirety. No complaints at all.
So I'm wondering if what they're censoring and who's putting up to censor certain things, because they've already said in the past that they were going to censor certain things, but now they're gone back and said they're going to put everything in its entirety of their films as they were. And they've left a notice and description talking about this is not what we condone and all that stuff.
Yeah, because that's for a lot of their older movies right now.
Right. So I was like, when do they decide to make that change if they got enough people to get pissed off at them? So why would they make these changes on censoring certain TV shows like The Simpsons and not do it with their films?
But also, too, I've only read people saying that I haven't actually seen it.
I can't verify this, not personally.
Because they're,
So then that would be, they're going to do that, but they won't bring out Song of the South.
Yeah.
Which pisses me off.
Right. So what I
if you're gonna have those warnings in the films, why don't you just bring it out? Because it's one of the biggest properties you have.
Right.
It's the first hybrid film.
I mean, quite honestly, one of the things
or the second,
besides just posting like that, just that visual warning that they have for some of their older films, Song of the South would be one where they could create new content with the extras that they have on there, which I think is a really cool feature.
Perfect teaching moment.
Yeah, exactly. To have a discussion about the movie.
Yeah.
Let's have a discussion about the movie and how it's seen in history.
Right.
So I think that it's a
Whoopi
perfect
Goldberg's for it.
It's a perfect.
I'm with Whoopi on this.
It's a perfect opportunity to do that. And what I was telling you earlier about the resume playback is that apparently when it was in beta in the Netherlands, it was there. They had that function.
Well, Dutch took it. It should be there. You know, like
the Dutch are holding it hostage.
So what I've been hearing from people, and I don't know if this is true or not, but it sounds accurate, is that because of all the issues that people were having logging in, account, whether it was through their passwords or whatever, just the apps not loading it and all that functionality just not working,
too much to bear
was
right
that they
now,
started pulling stuff
Yeah.
off of the app.
Now, here we are, basically day 4, right?
Right.
And I know some people that still have not been able to successfully like log in and watch anything.
Yeah, but can they read?
I mean, I would assume.
Just saying, you never know.
These are still issues that haven't really been fixed for a lot of people.
See,
the problems I've been
and
having,
they haven't even launched in the other countries
Yeah.
yet.
right.
And the problems that I was talking about that I've had personally have not improved at all. And there's been like several updates on my app so far, and still no improvement in the my specific complaints. Like it's still there. So I'm like, what are they updating? What do these updates even have?
See,
right?
and I don't get it because I haven't had any updates on mine. And mine has worked fine on everything.
And then there's also like when I talk to people, throughout the week, it seems like almost everyone is having different sets of problems. Like one person was telling me that they went to the Simpsons section, and all they saw was season 1. But season 1 had all 600 episodes in there.
Yeah.
Another person told me that seasons were missing. Now I went in and I counted all 30 seasons, so I didn't have that issue. And other people were telling me they had that issue, but with different shows.
Yeah,
other shows.
And I shouldn't say I haven't had any of those issues. I'm talking about like logging in, stuff like that, and use of it.
Yeah.
But the issues that I've told, like when the first show I went to go watch was Darkwing Duck, and when I started it, it was like halfway through the first season they counted it as episode 1, and I was like, wait, that's not right.
And that's I'm getting at. Like I didn't have that problem either. It's like everyone's having their own specific problems. It's like so bizarre.
Yeah. So
now
I would think that probably within the next few weeks we'll see them, because I think that they are still unfortunately working out these bugs.
Yeah.
But it amazes me that they didn't have the foresight to really, really plan for this. And because we all thought that that's why they were going through beta in the Netherlands, is to really, really nail this down.
Yes.
But like I said, I understand that, like I said, I knew it was going to crash. I just knew that was just going to happen. Everybody was going to try and log in at the same time, and it just wasn't going to work. But I knew that was going to happen. But the other problems that arose out of that is what I don't understand that they didn't see.
This is
coming.
Disney we're talking about. We're not talking about some kind of podunk whatever company that is biting off more than they can chew.
Yeah, they should have had this. We were talking about this earlier.
Yeah.
There's no reason why they couldn't use the Hulu platform or a different platform, any platform really they already have established, that they had to make a new one, I guess.
Right. And I think I mentioned this on the show before, I think that is one of the big reasons why they went after Hulu, is because they didn't really properly know how to have a video streaming service work right. And I just don't think that they've pulled people to tell them, or hired people onto that team to say.
They have movies anywhere. So I
don't think that's them though.
They're in it together with the five other.
But they're majority. Yeah, they're majority owner, but that doesn't mean that they're in charge of functionality.
Yeah. Right, but you would think that.
You would think
that. Yeah, and that's the thing that's crazy.
Because they went from they went from Disney Anywhere,
right,
to movies anywhere,
right,
and all that should still be. They should have the platform,
right,
for Disney's at least, and they should have it. I don't know what something went wrong here.
Oh yeah, something definitely went wrong.
They shouldn't have to start from scratch with a new platform if that's the case.
Well, I tweeted when these issues were happening, and they put out that tweet like customer service exceeded demand, blah blah blah. So I commented and told them, "Have you tried unplugging it? I'm plugging it back in."
Nice. Have you tried turning it on and off again?
But no, I was gonna say this is supposed to be. This is supposed to be the thing that all like the 20-year-olds are saying is going to kill Netflix. Yeah. Every 20-something-year-old I know is, I canceled my Netflix because of Disney Plus and blah blah blah. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense, because there's a bunch of stuff that Netflix has that Disney Plus doesn't. Well, I don't watch any of that stuff. That's on you. There was one guy I was talking to that I was like, "You're a Stranger Things fan, aren't you?" He's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "What are you going to do when Stranger Things season?" "Well, I'll start subscribing to Netflix." And I said, if enough people cancel their Netflix, we're not going to get a Stranger Things 4. And I saw his eyes get all big and wide. And I'm like, people just don't know how any of this stuff works?
That's weird, though, because Witcher has already gotten a season 2 renewal.
So has Sandman.
And it hasn't even come out yet.
So has Sandman, and Sandman's barely in pre-production.
Yeah.
I think that...
I go, what?
I think that a lot of that happened so quickly within the past day or so because of Mandalorian.
I think probably.
I think because of praise for Mandalorian and how great this was, that they had to say, okay, well, we really need
Well,
to.
no, the Sandman thing I was seeing a few weeks ago.
We need to get them back into production
Yeah,
because I don't know if we don't want to lose these characters.
Yeah,
No,
exactly.
A few weeks ago, like Neil Gaiman tweeted out about Sandman season 2, and then had to take it down because like they're still in pre-production of season 1. The Witcher thing I heard about last week. It got renewed for season 2 like last week. But the Nickelodeon deal for Netflix though happened. Or was announced a couple days ago.
Yeah.
And I thought the timing of it was like super like by design. Because it was basically like either Tuesday or Wednesday was like, hey, we're going to create a bunch of exclusive content with Nickelodeon properties.
Mm-hmm. Which is great.
Yeah.
I mean, I was planning on playing it during the show, but
yes.
the trailer for the new SpongeBob SquarePants movie looks really funny.
It does. And I didn't know they were even doing it until a couple days ago. So I
don't think anybody did.
That kind of came out of left field for me. I love SpongeBob so much.
I do too.
But I was gonna say earlier when I was saying though that I like my frustrations with the service are so plentiful that I was considering canceling it.
Right.
And I mean I'm not completely committed one way or the other right now, but when I've been thinking about it, I got the bundle. I subscribed to the bundle, so now I have Hulu, Disney Plus, and now for the first time ever ESPN Plus. And I was really kind of weighing all the options and everything. And I've never been that crazy about Hulu. Like sometimes they got some cool stuff, but it's not like I can live without Hulu.
Yeah.
Disney has The Mandalorian.
Right.
And then ESPN Plus has all these things I really love. So completely indifferent to Hulu.
Sports ball.
Yeah. One really major thing I really dig about Disney Plus, and then a whole bunch of stuff I really like about ESPN Plus. So okay, you got pros and cons, and the ESPN Plus thing's a big deal for me. But then you look at the stuff like
the same person.
Like but Disney Plus has stuff like the X-Men animated series, the Spider-Man animated series. I have a nephew who's always asking me, hey, can we watch Iron Man on your phone? Can we watch Avengers? It's usually Netflix, stuff like that. And so I started thinking, well, now I can show him this stuff.
Right.
So that's another plus. We're eventually going to get the Obi-Wan show. For the record, the Marvel shows do nothing for me. That's not in any way, shape, or form encouraging me to continue.
I want to watch WandaVision.
I don't want to watch any of it, especially
out of all of them. That's the one I want to watch.
I'm really intrigued by it,
especially since the other day or yesterday they released the costume for U.S. Agent, which was the only thing about Falcon and Winter Soldier I was even interested in. And like now I'm like, nope, that's a stupid looking costume. Doesn't look a thing like a U.S. Agent. I'm not going to watch this show.
It looks too Captain America.
At least he's not.
It actually does.
At least he's not
look
petty.
like
That's what
Captain
they
America.
mentioned.
Yeah.
It was an homage.
But it's an homage to Captain America, and he's not Captain America. I don't. Well, actually, he was Captain America for a brief period, but that's not the point.
Aha!
That's neither here nor there.
It's there.
But it also just looks really lame. It's an ugly-looking costume. But anyway.
You're ugly looking.
So I'm leaning more towards keeping it. And I'm not going to lie, the kid is a big factor in this decision. I'm definitely leaning more towards keeping it than canceling it.
And I can understand the thinking with the frustrations that you went through because, to a degree, not
so frustrating,
not very much. As you guys were talking, we were in our group messages texting about all the frustrations, and I'm like, it's been fine for me, guys.
It's
Sorry.
been fine for me.
And I've talked to a couple of people that haven't any problems, but the amount of people I've spoken to that have had problems, I was like, I'm not alone in this.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
Like you said,
I'll find out tonight when I log back in.
Right? Yeah, I know.
But so I think it was.
And I haven't tried downloading anything yet. So
no,
I haven't either. But I don't really intend. I don't really watch a lot of stuff on the go. So
the only time that I will is when I travel. More than likely, I have a long flight coming up, so I'll probably download.
Far away.
I might
actually yes.
I might download some stuff just in case my internet service goes out and I can still watch certain things.
Mm-hmm.
But I still own a ridiculous amount of physical media, so I might not even bother.
True.
But
True.
what was I going to say right now?
I don't know.
I'm getting close to 2,000 discs.
I don't even have a count. I've got numerous binders. I don't keep my cases because I've just got too much movies to store the cases. So I put them in binders and chuck the cases. I don't have the physical room. I own a ridiculous amount of movies. Like a ridiculous amount. And I still have a very large VHS collection because I'm a VHS collector and I still have a VCR. Although in that case, the cases actually don't really
I've got some VHS. Do you want my VHS?
I'll take them off your hands, yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. I'm a collector. But
two of them are that.
What was I going to say?
That Dracula and Frankenstein movie.
I was talking about,
It's okay.
deciding to keep the service.
Yeah.
Yep.
All right.
Man, I had it and it's gone.
It's okay.
This is really interesting audio, Nick.
Oh, so this isn't what I was gonna say, but I'll bring up something else, right? Because I can't remember.
good.
what I
Beverly
was
Hills
gonna say.
Cop 4 to Netflix.
Yeah.
That's another
Oh.
coup.
Netflix. That's what I was gonna say. So Wednesday
Netflix.
night, when frustrations are kind of, I'm like, I'm gonna watch Netflix.
Right.
I found Netflix has Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas, and
Yes.
I went, oh, I'm gonna watch Fear. So instead of watching family friendly Disney stuff, I'm watching Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas on
Nice.
Netflix, and I felt pretty good about that.
That's good.
But yeah, no, we're getting Beverly Hills 4 on. Is it all gonna be on Netflix, or is Netflix
Yes.
helping produce it?
Well, if
'Cause
they're
you're
helping
like-
produce it, it's going to be on Netflix.
Well, Amazon produces movies, but they come out in theaters.
They do both.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Netflix doesn't really do that often unless they want to go into an Oscar race.
Yeah. Now
Roma.
it's been so long since I've seen the Beverly Hills Cop movies. I was going to suggest it for Hindsight Theater.
I watch them all the time, except for 3. 3 is
Everyone says
awful.
3 sucks, but legitimately,
not
I
good.
haven't watched that series
watch
since I was a
first
little
and 2
kid.
because they're still great.
So I'm probably going to do that.
Yeah, the first one is still
I
fantastic.
get $10 for a truck. I get 15 for. What is this?
Young Chris Rock.
But I actually, one thing I wanted to bring up, though, one complaint I keep hearing from people that wasn't really a complaint for me, but I get it. And I have if anyone at Disney's listening, they're not. But in case they are, I do have an easy suggestion. So one of the complaints I was hearing from people was they didn't like how certain movies they click on just to see a message says this will be available May 1st, blah, blah.
yeah.
I actually like that.
I do
'cause
too.
I wish more services would say, hey, this is what we have coming up.
Yeah.
But I think most of the frustration stems from the fact that when people clicked on this, they didn't know they couldn't watch it right now because it's just integrated with the rest of the movies. If they
Right.
had their own little separate section,
Coming soon.
that would be awesome.
Yeah, I agree.
Because they've got a bunch of movies that still haven't come out yet that they're
Right.
going to release.
And there's stuff that is under contract with Stars and Netflix and a few other things.
Yeah, part of their Marvel stuff's coming out next 2 months or so.
Now,
Yeah.
did you guys notice that you can actually add Stars through Disney Plus for an additional fee?
I already have Stars,
Well,
so
but I didn't know that was even a thing until I got
okay.
the Disney Plus bundle, and then it prompted me that, hey, if you want, you can also add Stars, and I was like,
oh, nice.
really?
Yeah,
I hadn't even heard of that yet.
Yeah. yeah, and they have good movies in there.
Yeah, they do.
But that's just because with the cable bundle that I have, I got all the movie channels. So
Yeah, but no, I didn't even know that was even an option until I saw
Nice.
it on the thing.
Speaking, so Disney Plus. So something else besides what we've talked about so far, not complaints, but recommendations. The Imagineering story. It's another original.
Oh, I
content.
saw that was.
Oh,
on there.
yeah, I
It's
saw- I
really,
wanna see that.
really good.
I actually
I put
thought
that
of
in my
you.
list.
Yeah, really, really good.
I thought of you when I saw that.
Oh,
on there, yeah.
shucks.
You're the only one I know that I could think of. In that regard.
But yeah, I highly recommend that documentary and The World According to Jeff Goldblum.
I was just gonna say, I know you're
Yeah,
gonna bring
love
that
I
up.
added that too.
It's so good.
I don't know. There's just something I'm just not interested in Nat Geo.
It's
I
so
never
good.
was interested in Nat Geo. I was always more of a Discovery Channel guy, I guess.
Meh.
Yeah, but Discovery.
I'm not even a Discovery Channel guy.
This Nat Geo stuff is what Discovery Channel used to be.
No, I know.
Whereas Discovery Channel is now, you have no clothes and we're throwing you in the wilderness.
No. Well, I mean,
Season 2.
I was joking. I never really was much of a. Although there was one show. There was one show on Discovery Channel that I used to love watching as a kid.
Mythbusters.
No, Movie Magic.
Oh, yeah, that was
I
a
used
good
to
one.
love that
Yeah,
show.
That was a good show.
Yeah. But now we know how all that stuff's done, so there's not really a point in having that.
So now jumping on to another service.
Mhm.
So we talked a little bit about Netflix.
Mhm.
So today,
Yes.
one of our favorite shows on Netflix premiered its 3rd season.
Oh, yes.
The Toys That Made Us. Season
Yes.
3 launched on Netflix today. And Current Comics, both locations, were selected by the producers and the show to be an official viewing party location, which I thought was awesome.
Yes.
That was very
It's
nice.
very
It
cool.
made me feel special.
Yeah, so they had a lot of official viewing parties at both toy stores and some comic shops across the country, and Current Comics was one of those that they, added to their list of, yes, absolutely. So I thought that was cool.
Yeah.
I got here late, unfortunately, but I was able to watch most of the new season. So let's talk about episode 1.
Well, I mean, the
Briefly.
the Ninja Turtles episode is by far the best, and that's a biased opinion. I'm not gonna lie, because I love Ninja Turtles. I love Ninja Turtles more than well, I like Power Rangers. I definitely love Ninja Turtles more.
Yes.
I don't like My Little Pony for the obvious reasons. And then I don't like wrestling as much as I used to. So I was most excited about Ninja Turtles. And it did not disappoint. I thought it was an absolutely fantastic
good.
episode. Well, I think one of the better episodes in the series.
Well, I think one of the things, too, is that in all 3 seasons, there's always been at least one episode where it's about something that I'm not that crazy about, but they still make it interesting to watch.
Yeah.
It's still interesting to watch. It might not be, a toy that I liked or that I played with, but I'm like, oh, okay. It's, I still watch them. Like, I'll still watch the My Little Pony episode.
Well, I
that
think
was how I was with the Hello Kitty episode.
Yeah.
Yeah, that one was.
Although
Hello Kitty was a little more rough than.
So as soon as I got here to the
My Little
shop, I
Pony.
just started with season 2. I just watched season 2 up until season 3 ended, and I think we were definitely more intrigued by the Hello Kitty episode than we were by the My Little Pony episode.
Yeah, because it was just these like the ridiculous facts about her that was popping up. She's a Scorpio. She wants to be a professional concertly trained pianist or something. It was ridiculous.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
But
it was just those facts, but it's like overall, yeah. It's like
wait.
okay.
So there's a younger cat that hangs out at the shop, and he's really into Ninja Turtles, but he got into Ninja Turtles a handful of years ago with the 2012 series, and so he was not alive at all during the initial wave of Ninja Turtles like fandom and fame, pandemonium, I should say. And like I said, he's a late bloomer, but he's like really passionate about Ninja Turtles, and I have to keep explaining to him about the sheer like worldwide global phenomenon that was the Ninja Turtles in the late 80s to late 90s.
And really, this episode barely scratched the surface.
It really did.
Yeah.
There were things in there that I thought they were going to get to that they never did.
Yeah, like they never did like the Rocking Out of Our Shell tour, or the Christmas special, or like the sheer number of just merchandise. You remember like they had Ninja Turtle like Hostess pies?
No.
Yeah, it was just a vanilla pie, but the vanilla filling was green. No, they were
Green
awesome.
filling.
But like they had like Ninja Turtle like pizza snacks.
Hey, homie.
Like I guarantee you, like anything you could think of that people would buy, there was at some point a Ninja Turtles version.
Oh, yeah.
Of it. Like, I mean, a total global phenomenon. It
But
was like a major obsession for people for a long time.
But again, and the thing that makes it so much fun in watching this show or this series is that this episode now we get all of these inside stories that I didn't know about how difficult it was and how everybody just was like, nope, not going to do it. And then for somebody to find, and that's what a lot of these episodes are, is just one company finally stepping up saying, okay,
Well,
and then it goes crazy.
we were talking about how 87 was kind of the year where the toy companies were searching for something big.
Right.
Because they were losing their steam with G.I. Joe and He-Man and other properties. And 87 was the perfect year for them to
and Star Wars was long gone.
pop
point.
something new that would take the reins. And
Right.
I think Turtles was pretty much it.
No, and the Star Wars thing you brought up was a good point because like, so I was born a year after Jedi came out, and I was of the generation that didn't really get Star Wars toys until Power of the Force came out. You know, and I knew I had my parents had friends with older kids who had Star Wars toys.
Yeah.
But I was like, they made Star Wars toys.
Yeah, my cousins had a
didn't
few
know.
of them, but I didn't have any.
So like,
man.
yeah, I'm in this awkward
We had so
period
many.
where I had to make my
I
own
had
toys.
G.I. Joes. I was just
I
I
had
was
G.I.
content with
Joes.
those.
Yeah.
I
was too.
I got into He-Man at the very end of the craze.
Yeah.
Like, you know, by the time I started like getting
Yeah,
into
you were at the
He-Man,
very tail
like
end.
the action figure line was basically dead.
Yeah.
So like, yeah, it was
going into the new Adventures of He-Man or whatever.
Oh, I was in kindergarten when that came out. I remember that. It was awful. But the toys that made it, it's like, man, I remember the first time I even heard of Ninja Turtles. My uncle was a station manager at KCBA, and the day before they started showing it here, he's telling me, look, there's this new cartoon you're going to want, and he never did that with anything else, right? This is like a one-time thing. There's a new cartoon you're going to want to watch. It's called Ninja Turtles. It's going to be this going to be like the biggest thing in the world. And I'm like 4 years old, and I'm like, sure, Uncle John. I was the kind of kid that literally did anything you told me to do. So I was like, all right, tomorrow this time I'm going to watch this thing. And so, you know, watching Ninja Turtles for the first time and totally fall in love with it like everyone else did at the time.
Right.
See, I can remember my first time watching Ninja Turtles. I really wish I could remember my first time watching Star Wars. I just can't. I was too young. I was way too young to remember my first time. And then second episode was Power Rangers. And I remember the whole Power Rangers craze. And I still love that first, like, season and a half of Mighty Morphin Power Rangers. Like it's awkward, it's awful, but it's still so much fun.
Yeah, the toys you said you remembered were the second wave.
Second wave, yeah. But by the time that first movie came out, I was already over Power Rangers.
Yeah.
Oh,
and
yeah.
so, like, I guess I grew out of the Power Rangers. I mean, I still like watching the original, like, set, right?
Right.
But I was over Power Rangers by the time it's big enough for a movie. By the time the movie came out, I was like, this sucks. I'm done. And I never really went back. I'll go back and, like I said, watch the episodes that I like. And once I got access to the original Japanese series, I binged it all, and it's so much better. It's actually a more coherent story.
Shocker.
But I know people that still passionately love Power Rangers, like hardcore passionate, and like whereas I still dig like the old episodes, I'm not really that passionate about it.
Yeah.
And again, I said earlier, obviously, I'm not into My Little Pony. I'm not the demographic. I understand
You're not a brony?
that there is a whole subsect of the fandom that's not their demographic that loves it anyway. But yeah, I'm not a brony, like you said. The wrestling episode was very interesting to me because I used to be a very passionate wrestling fan.
Yeah.
And then once I became like 17 years old, it was like flip the switch. One day I loved it. Next day, no longer loved it.
That was how it was for me too.
Yeah.
Because it was the same thing. I was totally into it, at the offset. Well, not only that, but also I can remember living in Texas as a kid when we moved there. I forget how old I was. And then they used to, before WWF came around, and they had all those different, regions.
Yeah.
And I remember there were two different ones. There was the one that came out of Georgia, and there was another one I can't remember, but it was viewed in Texas, and we used to watch those. And my brother and I used to watch those every weekend, and I loved it. And then when WWF came around, I think he still watched.
Mornings.
Yeah, he still watched it for a while, and then I kept watching it. But then same thing. Just all of a sudden, it was kind of like I wasn't interested in any of the new characters that they were, bringing in, and I lost interest.
And then, those who listen to the show know that in like the last couple of years, me and Jesse have actually been going to a lot of the local wrestling shows and having a blast.
Yeah, I know.
So I've been flirting with getting back into wrestling, and every once in a while I'll turn on WWE and I'll try watching it. And I cannot find anything enjoyable about WWE at all.
I was the same way. I think probably after the first one that we went to and we had a blast, I was like, okay, maybe I'll try watching. And I got maybe 2 minutes. I was like, nah, I'm good.
But then, Access TV has New Japan Pro Wrestling, and I've watched that, and I've enjoyed it for the most part. Like, not enough to watch it regularly, but I watch it and go, I can get why people like this.
Right.
And then recently we have this new company, AEW, and it's on TNT, and I was watching that like for like an hour the other night, and actually really digging it. Like, for the first time in years, I'm actually sitting down and watching a wrestling program and thoroughly enjoying everything I'm seeing. Like it was 20 years ago during the Attitude Era of WWF, right? I still have a hard time saying WWE. I just can't bring myself to do it. Like, it's like I'm forcing myself to do it.
I'm the same way.
What you gonna do, brother? So I'm still like I consider a lapsed wrestling fan. I really dug the wrestling episode. I mean, we all had a hard time watching it because there was a lot of noise in the shop.
Yeah, I'll have to rewatch it, but it was fun seeing a lot of that stuff because I haven't seen a lot of it.
Yeah, seeing I started getting into. Prior to when I started getting wrestling toys was like the stuff like the Remco stuff they showed, or like the rubber ones. But when I started getting that too, the thumb wrestler stuff. But when I started getting into like they were buying me toys for wrestling was the 1990 wave from, I think it was Hasbro. But the WWF wave where it was, they all had action features like Jimmy Snuka, you press the button, he jumps up,
and kills somebody.
Whoa, that's a whole other thing. For those who don't know, Jimmy Snuka is a murderer. Although he wasn't convicted of murder because he CTE or something like that. He was like mentally ill. Remember. Like, so essentially he kind of got away with it. Like
Lex Luthor killed somebody.
He did, yes. And Miss Elizabeth died of an overdose in his apartment. But that's a whole other story. We can get into wrestling drama for those that have not seen. Is it Dark Side of the Ring? Is that the show on Viceland?
I think so. Oh, that's a good
that's
series.
That's a really good series. Yeah. Highly recommend it. I was like 6 years old when this toy line came out, and it got really, and that's also when the Wrestling Buddies came out that time period too. and got
Early
very
90s.
very into that kind of the stuff, and like that toy line. None of the wrestlers came with a belt. If you wanted the championship belt, you had to get the ring, which I got for Christmas that year. Prior to that, I found some like dead watches in my house, and those were their wrestling belts. That was like the championship belts, was like watch, because they would fit perfectly around their waist.
Nice, that's clever.
But like watching that here at the shop, earlier, just made me think
Who's
of
that?
all
That's
this
the
stuff.
Swatch.
And but I think most of the episodes of Toys That Made
I
Us,
call this guy Timex. He takes a licking, but he keeps on ticking.
Brother, the Rolex Championship of the world.
it's actually better than some of the other characters that were out there. But no, I
This
think
here's Casio.
I think the majority of the episodes of the Toys That Made Us encourage nostalgia. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, it's but like it's like a feel good show for just that
really
reason.
is. It's yeah.
And now I'm wondering what the next season will be.
I'm
know,
hoping
already.
Thundercats. Like
Yeah.
I'm really
the
hoping
other thing
for Thundercats.
to remember, they haven't released a trailer yet, but in a couple of weeks,
Oh, that's right.
their new series, The Movies That Made Us,
Yeah.
is coming out.
You seen those four?
Yeah, I think we read them on the show.
Did we?
I think so.
I don't remember.
I'll pull them
It
up.
was Dirty Dancing,
Don't put baby in a corner.
Top Gun.
I feel the need.
I
The
think
need
it was
for speed.
Top Gun.
No Indiana Jones.
Because no, or was it Raiders?
Because I would figure Raiders, right?
It is
I don't know.
Die Hard, Ghostbusters,
Yeah, Die
Dirty
Hard.
Dancing, and Home Alone.
There we go.
Oh, cool. I like 3 out of the 4.
Oh, my.
Not a fan. of Die Hard.
Not a what? Dare
I
you?
Um,
heard that about you.
Best Christmas movie ever.
I agree.
Don't even-
and I get
don't even
really
start.
upset. I get super
I'm
upset
sorry.
when
Not
someone
start with
says,
that.
I'm sorry.
I
best,
will go.
Best Thanksgiving movie ever.
No. I swear to God.
No, I defend
Movies that come out during the summer that have it's adjacent at best.
It's a Christmas movie.
It's a total Christmas movie.
It's a Christmas movie.
It is a very
not about
hardcore,
Christmas.
unabashed Christmas
You know,
movie.
before this argument ever started, because of the internets, I used to have people over at my apartment to watch Die Hard for Christmas.
Christmas, yeah.
Just saying.
It takes place at a Christmas party.
Just saying.
It takes place there.
It plays.
It's not about Christmas.
They play. There's a lot of
Christmas
that aren't actually
movies.
about Christmas.
Are about Christmas.
Now, I have a machine gun, ho, ho, ho.
Yeah,
You don't get more Christmas than that.
it has Christmas music
Machine
in
guns and ho, ho, ho.
You telling me Trading Places is a Christmas movie?
Yes.
it. Yes,
No, it's not a Christmas movie. Trading
Like-
Places is a good movie, but it's not a Christmas
I like
movie.
you asked me for my answer, and I answered no.
No,
Home Alone.
your foot is wrong.
Home Alone is a Christmas movie.
Yes, it is. It's about Christmas.
It's not about Christmas. It's
Yes,
about
it
a
is.
kid being home alone.
It's about a kid who should just picked up the phone and called the cops and said, my family is not here.
Yeah.
They leave him on Christmas.
Credits.
But
It's about the Christmas spirit.
they could also easily be going to vacation just because.
They
Yeah.
could have wanted to be away
So
from him.
the argument against
Maybe this
Die
is just
Hard-
a movie about abandonment.
No,
They
the
just didn't ever
argument-
want to have him anyway.
the argument against Die Hard
Their
being a
marriage is
Christmas movie
failing.
also applies to Home Alone. So if Home Alone is considered a Christmas movie, why isn't Die Hard?
Swear to God.
Because it's a Christmas
No,
movie.
it's not.
So
Uh,
Toys That Made Us.
Toys
But
That
no,
Made Us.
so Movies That Made Us.
Movies that made us.
I have a feeling they're going to discuss that. So we're getting.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
He's already said it.
so
Yeah.
that's great.
But no, I love.
He's wrong as well. I'm fine with telling the creator of the program I like. I don't care.
Well, on the phone now.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I was gonna say I love the Toys That Made Us. I mean that's why I bought the Blu-ray
Right.
as soon as I found it was up for pre-order. I know we all did.
Right.
And much like Disney Plus, we all did not have the same experience with that Blu-ray. But no, I was gonna say I love the show, and I'm not just saying that because they've given us shout-outs on the internet. I loved it before they did that.
It's true.
That just makes it
Just
sweeter.
It was
So,
nice.
Thank you, whoever the powers that be at the Toys That Make Us. Thank you,
Yes,
because
thank
we
you.
appreciate that, and we were super flattered and humbled.
And we're already jonesing for season 4.
Oh hell yeah, hell yeah!
And I've already heard the first list for the movies, and I'm ready for the second season of that.
Yeah,
already.
I know. Yeah.
What's the next for?
And I remember when the first season for Toys That Made Us dropped just over the holidays a couple of years ago. and I was like, "Oh, this looks interesting," and I fell in love with it. I
Yeah.
fell in love with it.
The He-Man episode is still my favorite one, though.
Okay.
Like, hands down.
But for me, obviously, it's the Star Wars one for me.
Yeah.
But I was going to say, it is kind of a biased opinion, too.
Yeah, it's true. Well, it is for all of us.
Yeah.
I got Joe's
each
dipping
one.
on his heels, though.
But again, I normally
That
would
is a
say
good one.
Star Wars because
Yeah.
I do love Star Wars more than He-Man, but I didn't grow up with the Star Wars toys.
I know. That's what I'm
Because
saying.
I was in that awkward generation where we didn't have any. I was 10 the first time I bought a Star Wars toy. And it was a overtly muscular Luke Skywalker.
Oh, yeah.
But no, I'm very happy with the season 3 so
Yeah.
far, and I totally intend to watch it again when I can actually watch it quietly
Sit down
and
and
really absorb it.
Absorb it.
Yeah,
Understand what they're saying.
yeah.
Over questions about Godzilla.
Oh man,
God damn.
that's
Yeah.
a whole thing.
I will probably I'll go home. I'll watch Mandalorian, and then I'll finish up.
Yeah.
Clearly watching season 3.
Now,
I might have to pop on
Now?
some gummy bears.
no, I was gonna say. Now, if
Gummy
you guys only
bears.
watch,
The Adventures of the Gummy Bears. Sorry.
Oh,
Yeah.
How dare
you should
you.
eat gummy bears while watching gummy
I
bears.
should.
Getting some like meta cannibalism kind
Yeah.
of vibe. Or,
It's like the M&M's eating the hazelnut.
now, have you guys only watched Mandalorian episode 1 the one time?
Yes.
I've only seen it once.
Okay, I've seen it twice. I'm gonna watch it again. Because that's the
la-di-da.
problem. Well, that's the problem with the.
Well, I say I'm going to watch episode 2, but when I go and I push play, it'll probably start episode 1.
Yeah.
And I'm going to watch it.
But no, I was gonna say, I initially was in favor of the once a week thing until I watched
Until you
episode
watch
1,
it, now you want it right
and
now.
now I was furious. I couldn't
problems.
watch episode 2. So
He's been very salty today about that.
I'm probably
Well,
yeah.
I think there's other reasons that are making him salty.
Yeah, well,
no, but I am salty about that thing because now I'm frustrated. I can't watch episode 3.
I want to watch
So,
it now.
I'm probably gonna watch.
I want that goose with the golden egg.
I'm probably gonna watch Mandalorian episodes 1 and 2 a couple more times in the next week.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's other stuff on there.
Whatever, Veruca.
I know, but I'm not terribly interested in the majority of things on the. But I said that before, and when they came out the list of things, I told you guys like, there's probably less than 10% of the things on here I'm actually interested. Now, granted, 10% of 1,000 is still 100, but I'm not overwhelmed by the content the way a lot of other people are. And a lot of the things on there that I like, I already own. So that's one of the reasons why I was also like, I don't really know if I really need this service. You know, like
I wonder if they have the Parent Traps on it.
They do.
they do, yeah.
All
Haley
four?
Mills.
All four?
I don't know if the remakes are on there. I know that the Haley Mills ones are on there.
Right.
Well,
I know.
I was happy that the original Freaky Friday's on there.
Nice.
Yeah, so I'm very stoked about that.
So, confession, guys.
Oh, here we go.
I love Disney animation.
Uh-huh.
Their live action movies, for the most part, I was never crazy about.
Well,
So I don't have those kind of
Man.
attachments.
Oh, I did
to,
watch
like-
the Apple Dumpling Gang.
Nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I thought of both of you guys when I saw that was on
yeah,
there.
I love that movie.
Yeah.
So I did watch that the other day. Haven't watched
I had to
Rise
explain
Again.
to him what Pollyanna was.
Hate you.
So you're
I'm
gonna
not going to
watch
watch it.
You're going to watch it.
I'm not going to watch it.
You are. I'm going to put on the ding.
I kind of
Forward
want to watch
channel.
that Brazilian telenovela
Yeah,
from last
shut
year. But I'm not going to watch, and I'm specifically not going to watch. I will watch every other version of Paul, which apparently there's a whole bunch of.
No,
different
you're going to
versions
watch
of
the
it.
Disney version.
I'm
damn
going to
it.
watch every other one before I
I'm
watch
going
the
to
Disney
spoon
one,
fiend that damn thing down your throat.
and I will text you as I watch all the other ones. I'm watching the 1923 one, Nick.
No, you're texting me. I can't get on.
Well, I don't think the other ones are on Disney Plus.
They're not.
It's
not their property. Jesus.
I'm going to make you watch High School Musical, the
The
series,
series.
You wouldn't dare.
to get ready for next year when it's High School Musical, the series, the animated show.
Part 2.
The musical. What was I say?
They're going to do Hamlet.
This time with animals.
No, actually, realistically, I'm probably just gonna keep watching Clone Wars.
Okay.
'Cause
Okay, I approve of that.
I want to get through that as soon as I possibly can.
And then get into Rebels.
That's actually my motivation. Is really because what really
get you.
sparked
Yeah.
it for me was when I saw the Obi-Wan Darth Maul scene from Rebels,
So good.
and I went, "Oh my God, why haven't I been watching this?"
Yeah.
Yeah. But I'm looking forward to find out who the Inquisitors are. I keep hearing that come up a lot. I've seen their lightsabers.
Right.
I want to find out more about Mandalore. I don't know that much about Mandalore.
Yeah.
And now
I will probably start rewatching Clone Wars again. 'Cause
And now,
I really loved it.
I was going to say, thanks to the show The Mandalorian, I now actually care about Mandalore. I never really did because Boba Fett's kind of lame. Although there's some cool Mandalorian stuff in Knights of the Old Republic.
That's true.
I'll give that some credit.
That's true.
Yeah.
There is. All right. Should we all get out of here and go start streaming a bunch of stuff?
Yeah, I'm gonna go watch not Pollyanna, but Clone Wars.
You're gonna watch Pollyanna.
Yeah, Pollyanna's the last thing I'm gonna watch.
No.
We're gonna watch Swiss
Be the
Family
first
Robinson.
thing. Oh yeah.
We're gonna watch Computer War Tennis Shoes, followed by their sequels of The Strongest Man in the World and Now You See Me, Now You Don't.
And then you're gonna have to watch The Love Bug.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Followed by Herbie Rides Again.
None
Herbie Goes to Monte Carlo.
In none
Herbie
of
Goes
this-
Bananas.
In none of this have I heard anyone, and not just us, but anyone, period, say they watched The New Lady and the Tramp. And I thought for sure that was going to be like a high
That was
priority
one of the
for
first
people.
ones I wanted to watch,
Yeah.
but actually last night we rewatched the original because I haven't seen it in a while.
Yeah.
Before I watched the remake.
I have not watched Lady and the Tramp since I was a kid, but it was something I liked
I
a
hadn't
lot.
either,
Yeah.
and it still holds up. It's great.
I did start watching Sword in the Stone. Oh, I think I brought that up earlier.
Okay.
I had frame rate issues.
I-
but
that I approve of.
Well, it's one of my favorites. I love Sword in the Stone.
Yeah.
I was going to watch Robin Hood, and I got distracted by something else.
Oodalali.
Oh, one thing I do want to bring up.
Yes.
I was pleasantly surprised to see a Zorro movie.
Oh
on
yeah,
Disney
yeah,
Plus.
yeah.
Yeah, Zorro.
A Zorro movie that I hadn't actually seen, so
It's
I'm
with
going to
Guy
watch
Richards.
that.
Yep.
Yeah. So that's cool.
There you go.
I love Zorro.
Okay,
Yeah, they did two of them at least.
Yep. And then you can watch Davy Crockett.
Oh, those I actually liked as a kid.
Let's see.
I used to love that the Davy Crockett movies.
There you go.
I was
Do
actually
they have
pretty-
I gotta look. Do they have the Zorro series on there?
The
I didn't
series
see
isn't
it,
on there,
no.
not yet.
No.
Because when I got the collector's edition for the movie club, was able to get one of the seasons. When I tried to go back and get another one, the second season, they shipped me the wrong one. So they shipped me season 1, but I was supposed to get season 2. And when I tried to get the other one, it was out. I was like, darn it.
Yeah, I haven't seen the series on there yet.
And but the problem is, I think they colorized all of them, and they sent the colorized version. I was kind of bummed.
Boo.
Wanted the black and white.
They do have the original Mickey Mouse Club on there, so I'm wondering if some of the Zorro episodes are on there
Yeah.
because that was where they used to air
Yeah.
them originally. But I also, one of the other shows that's missing on there that I know I've been reading a lot of people like, why is it on there? Like the old Wonderful World of Disney.
Yeah, those would be cool.
But I think that I don't know how long it'll take for that to happen because what I do know is that the Disney family controls the rights to anything with Walt in it.
Oh.
So his likeness, anything, his signature, they control all of that. Disney company does not. The Disney family controls all that.
Right.
And I'll say this because I think we forgot to bring this up in all the Disney discussion.
Oh, yes.
I did watch The Little Mermaid, and I thought
Which one?
The live one.
Oh.
And I thought, how dare they shame the name of Wonderful World of Disney by calling it Wonderful World of Disney Presents The Little Mermaid Live.
Yeah, that was.
How dare they? That name, The Wonderful World of Disney, used to mean something.
Yeah, that was a shipwreck.
And it meant quality content.
Wow.
But yeah, that sucked.
It was.
That sucked bad.
Yeah, it was.
I still like the casting for that show than I do the new movie they're putting out.
I mean, I'm not really a fan of The Little Mermaid anyway.
I mean, well, yeah.
It just was a terrible, terrible production.
Oh, I loved that movie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Saw it the one time when I
Another
was
documentary I would recommend putting it on your watch list because I know you do like good documentaries. On Disney Plus, Waking Sleeping Beauty.
That's fantastic.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
It
I
is
was
so
that's
good.
a good one.
It's about the renaissance of animation at Disney.
Okay.
So Waking Sleeping Beauty, I highly recommend.
Starting
that.
I'll put that on my
Little
watch
Mermaid.
list.
Yeah.
But
All right.
not Pollyanna.
All right. Well, we got a bunch of stuff to go and stream, like Pollyanna.
Yes, we do. Yes, we do.
Yep.
It's got
You guys are
Eddie
going to
Corrigan.
make Pollyanna Hindsight Theater thing, aren't you?
I think
No.
we should.
No, I think it needs to be your next video vault.
Oh, yeah.
That's not a Nick's Video Vault kind of movie.
Hell, it is now. That's right, buddy.
All right, let's get out of here.
Stop playing with
Yeah.
your mic.
Yeah, you're killing this.
Jeez.
And maybe it muted himself. That's fine.
All right, let's get out of here. My goodness. Follow us on social media at OMGeeks Podcast. We're done.
All right.
All right.
Bye-bye.
We have clearance, Clarence.
Roger, Roger. What's our vector, Victor?
iHeartRadio clearance over.
That's Clarence over. Over.
Roger.
Huh?